Just closed another one. Flex emoji. Grateful for my team. Hashtag hustle. Hashtag blessed. Hashtag CRE. Hashtag CRE life. Hashtag deal flow. Hashtag multifamily. Hashtag let's go. Hashtag mindset. Hashtag grindset. Hashtag networking. Hashtag Tuesday motivation.
Wow. So brave. Did that post inspire anyone? Or did it just remind the internet that you still use the word grind set?
Look, we get it. You're trying. But if your marketing strategy looks like a Mad Libs of hashtags and flex emojis,
you need Fly Jamerson and Mo Regalado in your life. They're not just here to roast your feed, though honestly they should. They're here to show you how to actually connect with people online, creatively, consistently, authentically.
today you'll learn how to turn your content from forgettable to magnetic.
This is your permission to stop blending in and start posting like a human.
This is Commercially Speaking.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Commercially Speaking, the only commercial real estate podcast where a CCIM instructor and former Marine Arabic linguist tries to teach CRE to an improv comedian whose idea of cold calling is forgetting to text his mom back.
I'm Bo Barron, CCIM, founder of Barron Commercial Group, and the guy trying to keep this show from going off the rails.
And I'm Timmy Barron, ADHD actor, ENFP, professional oversharer. Okay, listen to me. Stop what you're doing. If you're driving, pull over. If you're walking, sit down. If you're a broker posting a just sold with 14 hashtags, delete it. Because what's about to happen isn't a podcast episode. It's a sacred digital awakening. It's a personal brand baptism. It's a freaking marketing exorcism, Bo.
Timmy, please breathe through your nose.
Our guests today are not consultants. They are not coaches. They are not branding experts. They are messengers sent from the content heavens to rescue you from your 2016 Canva templates.
They're the duo behind Social Serve 25, which is basically TED Talks if TED had actual charisma.
They have helped more brokers find their voice than puberty. These two are the reason some brokers actually know where their camera lens is. The reason that guy you muted last year now has a content calendar and emotional range. We're talking about two women who could make a Google sheet go viral. The kind of people who look at a broken bio and immediately know your childhood wound.
Fly has helped CRE pros realize you can post and have personality. Mo has built more strong brands than a bourbon distillery during Derby Week.
Mo once looked at a guy's logo and made him cry in a good way. Fly once fixed a value prop with a single eyebrow raise.
I don't even know what that means.
Of course you don't, Bo. That's because you're a Marine. And these are artisans who could rebrand a Waffle House mid-flight.
That's actually impressive.
So whether you're a CRE broker, an investor, or someone who still thinks posting is cringy, prepare to be baptized in clarity, consistency, and chaotic creative genius. Please welcome to the show, Mo Regalado and Fly Jamerson. Welcome.
Well, thanks for having us. That was quite the open.
I've never held in a laugh so hard, except maybe while I'm pinned underneath my daughter and she's asleep and I'm on Twitter.
I know that feeling.
Timmy sent, we have this group family thread.
Yeah.
And he shows this video. He sends this video out last night. He throws a ball to his daughter, Birdie.
Yeah.
Who
She's
catches
3.5.
it. She's like jumping on the couch and she catches it with her face. And it just blows her back completely off the ground, lands. It's a big laugh. She's loving life. But he slow-moed the thing.
Yes.
And that was me. I didn't have a baby on my chest or anything.
Yeah.
But I was in bed last night showing my wife. I was like, look at this thing.
It's so, man, that was so good. That's the softball too. The soft one. That's the soft basketball. Everybody watching this right now, you would have just seen that video, and that ball is soft. It's not a hard ball.
Yes.
Anyway, yes. Anyway, Mo, now I've met you before, and of course Bo has too, and we know you as the person who runs Bob Knakal's social media, which is huge to our audience. Will you tell us a little bit about? First of all, I'm really curious how you started doing this for commercial real estate. But if we could just back up a little bit, give us like a 5-minute origin story about where you came from and what led you into what you're doing now.
I was born a poor black boy. No.
I was born a poor black child.
Do you guys remember that movie? Anyway. Okay. So
I have no frame of
start.
reference for that soundbite. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So origin story, started in radio in 2004, realized the importance of social media. I wasn't cool enough. I wasn't young enough to be on Facebook. So I used MySpace for the radio stations that I worked at. It was cool because I worked in country music radio. So of course I guess put country music on the MySpace page. Awesome.
Nice.
I missed that. Missed those days. Got out of radio, got back into radio in Minnesota and started running all the pages there too. Working on websites, moved to Washington State and worked strictly in social for a B2C company. Really end up, making their voice for their brand, which they hadn't had. I got fired from that job.
Nice.
Which is a fun story to talk about.
Congratulations.
Oh yeah, no, it was fabulous. It was fabulous. It's because I called somebody a douche canoe, and I probably shouldn't have.
Yeah. Oh, I should have worn my douche canoe shirt. I know that about you. That I saw you post the definition of douche canoe.
Yes.
Not too long ago. Yes.
Yeah,
I should have worn.
educational. Very educational.
Very educational.
I
Oh my
always have
goodness.
interesting words to share with people. And then
No, I'm sorry to cut you off again. I also got fired for calling somebody a name. At
The karaoke bar?
At the karaoke bar, yeah. Yeah. I called somebody an entitled piece of shit.
nice.
Yeah. And that wasn't the only time. I've said other words on the mic so everybody could hear, but it was one straw too many. Anyway.
Yeah. My situation was I grew a group for this on Facebook at this time. This was in 2017. So I started the group in 2016. I grew it from 0 to 11,000 members. A very heavy 2A industry. Lots of men, not a problem. Love it. Had a few women in the group that were gun enthusiasts. And there was a woman that was looking at a holster for her husband. She was asking questions. She had a bunch of men come in and start mansplaining to her. She was one of our more active members in the community. So I jumped in because they were just dogpiling on her. So the story is, I go in and I said, hey, if you guys can't stop being a bunch of dumbasses. So I said dumbass too. If you guys can't stop being a bunch of dumbasses, I'm going to shut this thread down. Don't be a douche canoe. And that was it. After that, didn't have to shut the thread down. Everything was cool. I screenshot it because after I posted it, I was like, oh, you are the brand face and the brand voice. You should not have said that. I sent it to my boss and I said, hey, this happened. He's like, okay, we'll just deal with the fallout. And a month later, I got fired.
Yeah. 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 It didn't work as well as Wendy's.
No.
They're-
No. And what's funny about that whole situation is that they're like, why did you leave it up there? And I said, screenshots live forever. Like, there's no way I'm going to be able to. So I'd rather self-report and do that. So I did everything by the book. Anyway, I still got fired. Went to work for Harley Davidson. Locally, we were number 1 2 times that year in 2017. We had Harley Corporate come out and ask, what are you guys doing differently? Because we were all over social media. I was getting us earned media. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was going on. That was a good job. Left that job and then decided to go full time doing just straight social media, and ended up in CRE because of Beth Azor. And I think I've actually told this story before, and it's so funny. Beth Azor contacts me off of an Indeed, Indeed. I guess I was on Indeed or something like that. Do the interview. It is the worst interview I've ever done in my entire life. It was so bad. It was so bad. I had technical difficulties with like my computer and my sound. And when stuff like that happens, like I get very flustered and frustrated. and angry. And so it was just not a good interview. And so I get off the interview and I tell my husband, I say, they're not contacting me back. So I don't hear anything. I go into my spam folder like 2 weeks later, and this is from Josie, who is her right-hand woman. And she says, hey, we went with somebody local. And I was like, yeah, I kind of figured when I didn't hear back from you guys that I didn't get the job. So then about a week after that, I get an email from Josie, and she says, hey, are you still interested in the job? And I'm an ass. So I email back and I'm like, what happened to your local gal? And so she emails back right away and she goes, she didn't work out. Are you interested? I was like, well, yeah, of course. So I've been working with Beth since October of 2021. And that's how I got involved in commercial real estate. And what I love about, and if you talk to Beth will tell you, she's like, Mo's really salty. So just be careful with that. She's very salty. I'm like, I don't mean to be salty, but if you come to me and ask me a question, I'm going to give you the answer, whether you want to hear the answer I give you or not. I handle all of her content. I do her email marketing. I handle her website. And so, but that's Beth trusts me to do her content and get her voice correct. So it's been a great relationship.
She of course was a guest on the show, had a great episode.
Oh yeah. We love Beth. We love Beth.
But I didn't realize she was your entree into the commercial real estate space.
Yeah, absolutely. She is. And she's introduced to me. She introduced me to Rod Santomassimo of the Massimo Group, our buddy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And also introduced me to Bob. Actually, both her and Rod introduced me to Bob at Massimo Con in 22. It was 22, right? Yeah, 22.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how that all got started.
So all your clients look a little bit different, I would assume, as in you're running all of Beth's social media and marketing and website.
Not all of her marketing. I mean, because a lot of that happens with Josie as well, but for all the digital stuff.
Sure. Gotcha. Email marketing. Yeah. What does it look like? Because what does it look like if somebody wants to come to you for their social media? Are you taking it over for them? Or what are the tiers? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Hey, if you're new to commercial real estate investing, you probably know the feeling. Brokers, underwriting, raising capital. Where do you even begin? And that's why CRE Investor Coach exists, to give new and emerging investors a clear step-by-step path to closing their first deal. I believe in this program so much, I actually joined the team as an adjunct faculty member. That's how committed I am to helping more people get into the space right now. Whether you want to go at your own pace with on-demand training, launch your first investment with expert coaching, or scale with a mastermind of other ambitious investors, there's a roadmap here for you. Inside, you'll learn how to define your investor identity, analyze deals with confidence, talk to brokers like a pro, raise capital, and build a real acquisition pipeline without all the guesswork. This is about building a business that blesses your life, not breaks your spirit. So if you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and actually get in the game, check out the link in the show notes and start your journey today. Learn, launch, and scale with CRE Investor Coach. This episode is also brought to you by Site to Do Business, commercial real estate's most advanced toolkit, providing commercial real estate professionals like me with premier data, mapping, and marketing tools to win business and revolutionize decision-making. Visit stdb.com to learn more.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So how much level of control do I have? Right.
Yeah.
So it depends on the client. Some clients just want help creating the content or curating the content, and they need ideas. There's situations where Bob writes all of his content and then sends it to me on Sunday. So I get that. He doesn't have time to post. He doesn't care about posting. He doesn't want to do any of that stuff. And he also understands that there's a certain way that people actually look at content on social versus how Bob writes. If you've ever read any of Bob's articles in Commercial Observer, you know he writes in big paragraphs.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody's going to read big paragraphs on social. We don't have the attention span for that. So you have to know where to make line breaks, how much our eyes are going to be tracking the content across the screen. Different screens do different things. So Bob actually, he writes all of his content. I post it for him. I help him actually generate ideas for videos, a walk down the street, and what would Bob Knakal do. The Knakal Nuggets he already had, but then we started that series. That series is now going to become, and I don't even know if I should be talking about this, but I'm going to throw it out there. The Knakal Nuggets are going to be a book next year. So
Nice.
Nice.
Great.
Yeah, so very, very exciting.
We like breaking news here. So
That's right. You're hearing it here first, y'all. That's such a great name for a book, too. I'd buy a book called Knackle Nuggets.
I want there to,
Go
I
ahead.
want there to be Knackle Nugget Valentines. I want little Valentines with all the BKRE faces on them, and then it could be a tear out in the back. Sorry, I have too many ideas.
Oh, that would be great. That would be great. There should be a collaboration with McDonald's too.
hey, before we jump over to Fly, do you know why we have this podcast?
I don't know if I understand the question. Why do we have this podcast?
It's because I didn't hire Mo.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
This is not a suggestion for people. Okay. But when I was trying to figure out how to do this podcast, I had a call with Mo, and I wanted to see what she actually did with people.
Right.
And she kind of took me through it, and I was like, man, that'd be nice. I could be like, Beth and Bob, and when I thought through what that would take and what it would take to do a podcast, like I just chose the podcast route.
Yeah.
But if I would have chose the other route,
Right.
like I would have been working with Mo for the last couple of years.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And,
Well, and we discussed your podcast too, because I specifically remember, talking about that, and Fly and I talk about this all the time, and the content waterfall. And I was like, hey, if you guys are going to do a podcast, that is the best thing that you can do, because you're going to have content for days.
yeah.
Right. Long form to medium form to short form
Yep.
to teeny form to little tiny microscopic form. Anywho, okay. And so Mo, it's called Movo.
Yep.
Yes.
Novo Media Marketing.
Movo Media Marketing. And Fly, let's transfer over to you. How long have you two been together? Where did you find Fly? How did you all get connected? And I know that you...
And where'd the name Fly come from?
Yeah.
Well, I can start with that one because it's the easiest. So my full first name is Flannery, like the Irish last name Flannery, except it's my first name, and it was a family name, and it had also been a first name in my family, and so they were like, okay, you're gonna be Flannery, and I was a baby, so I was like, bet. But when I grew up, and everyone around me was like Dan, Kate, Michael, or Mike, right? And I was just like, Flannery is such a long name. And it was the 90s, and so I crossed out the middle letters and became Fly. And I've never been as cool as I was when I was in third grade in the 90s. So it's been a long life living up to it.
I love it. And the combination of Mo and Fly.
Yeah.
Fly and Mo. It works both ways.
In one of the elite group chats that we're a part of on the many apps, we have fear of missing out on Mo as FOMO, and then all sort of like reiterations of like Fly and Mo together. So it's fun.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Definitely a recognition. But so Mo and I joined the agency quite recently. It's currently the end of August of 2025. And so it's been about 6 weeks, I think, since we've been officially together.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you're officially together.
Officially together.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Nice.
Officially. Yeah.
We did rings and everything.
Nice. Okay, say more.
And so, but, Mo and I have been collaborating very closely together since we first actually spoke for the first time in person about a year ago. I had recently started in working in social media for a local brokerage here in Louisiana, and I was starting to get connected and plugged into the larger national community and trying to figure out, how do you actually do commercial real estate on social media? Right. And so she emerged as a person who knew what the heck she was talking about.
Yep.
And so I initially reconnected with her to, sort of ask some questions, and we ended up making some content together. And after that, we stayed very connected. And, my career has evolved rapidly in the short time I've been in the industry. And, so Mo, not only do we get along, we obviously like creating content together and laugh together, which, like, for me is a huge need that I have in my work and with who I work with. And so, I had an opportunity to decide where I wanted the direction of my career to go next. And for me, the connections and the work that I create with my clients is very important to me, and I wanted it to be with the right people. And so not only, coming on with the agency, I have a friend and a mentor and a leader and someone who really knows all the ins and outs of this business, and then I can also, decide who I want to work with, because not everybody in this business is as nice or as fun as us.
Yes.
Yeah. Bo, coming from this world and not loving social media.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, you hate it. Yes. What's the biggest mistake that you see with clients or people that you talk to that they are doing?
So the biggest mistake that I see people making on social media in this industry is posting and ghosting. They don't understand that the algorithms, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, require you to be on there for a certain amount of time, making connections and interactions before you post your content and after you post your content. We call it the golden hour. LinkedIn called it the golden hour. It's either a half hour before, half hour after. The hour after you post, you should be commenting on your own content. So anybody who replies, jump in there, start commenting, and then getting involved in other conversations and posting meaningful content, not just like emojis or I'm not real fond of the LinkedIn pre-comment where you can just click it and it puts it up there. It's important to actually put meaningful content on there so that you spark and start conversations. And what happens when you do that is when you start posting and you start interacting, then your content gets spread to a wider audience because the platform, the algorithm, knows that you're active. And that is so important. That is a huge mistake. They just don't want to spend the time to do it to cultivate conversation and create community. And that's what social media is all about. It's about creating community. It's not about sitting in your dark little corner, eating your cheese and then posting and then running away. Right?
Would you put YouTube in the bucket of social media in this context of what we're talking about?
So YouTube is such a weird animal for me because of the fact that I do agree that you need to interact with the comments and be active on there, but it is such a it's more like I don't know, more like TikTok.
Consumption-based platform.
Yeah, like you're consuming content at a rate, I think, faster than you do on the other platforms. So you're not as likely to make a comment. I can't remember the last time I made a comment on a YouTube video, honestly. It's very rare that I comment on YouTube, but I will comment on, and I don't even comment on TikTok. I'll comment on X, LinkedIn, Instagram. But I think it's because of the rate at which you're consuming the content, it affects how people react and behave on YouTube.
And I think too, the misconceptions that you're pointing to are directly linked to what the platforms are made for, right? YouTube is more consuming, like, why is it everyone's having a hard time saying that word?
Consumption based.
Yeah. And so why engagement is so much more important on like LinkedIn or X, for example, is because those platforms are actually modeled on and built off of the way that people are interacting in real life, right? YouTube's more like a movie theater, so you have an entirely different set of constraints to get around. But I would agree that the rate, if you see a YouTube video that has a lot of views, the ratio of views to comments is going to be, not necessarily going to reflect what you might see on a different app. And I think that links to what I think is the biggest mistake that people are making, is not treating it like what my actual definition of social media is, which is that the social part of it, which is what you're actually putting into what you're posting and you're commenting, all of that is based on the real. How you actually talk to people, interact with them, captured in a very specific media format. And so where I see people getting stopped up here are on two things. One, they're treating, some of these more engagement forward platforms as a space for advertising, which advertising is a very specific media form that is not based on direct back and forth engagement.
Correct.
And then the other aspect of that would be not looking at directly what they have in front of them and how they think and how they talk and what are the actual things that fill up the experience of their life and their work with their clients and their peers. Because that is what you should be translating into your content and packaging it in a way that works for the platforms. And so with an approach to social media that is based on advertising, no direct engagement, and no representation of how it's actually like to work with you and who you are as a person, that is the common denominator that I see of everything that is wrong with CRE social.
Yep. Absolutely.
Love
I
it.
agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Will you break down real quick the difference between advertising and social media?
Yeah. And so we just recently broke this down on one of our episodes of Social Surge, in specifically talking about content marketing, because you can have ads on social media apps, but even then, like, they're functioning in different ways. And advertisement, I would say, is a very, like, more of a micro piece of something that is very specifically calling people to action to let them know about something that you have for sale, right? Now, there is a lot of creativity and sophistication that you can have in the messaging and design of advertisements. But content marketing, which is the core of social media, is about providing an experience of you in a much longer format, right? And so Alan Dibb, in the one-page marketing plan, which we referenced on that episode, likens it to a circus. So that advertising a circus would be, actually putting up a sign or a billboard that's like, hey, there's a circus coming to town in a few weeks, Barnum and Bailey or whatever, right? Like it's the actual thing you drive by on the highway. Content marketing is communicating the experience of it in videos and in posts and in behind the scenes and all of the other things that you would see on probably a popular circus's social media channel. So I don't know if that helps clarify the difference between those two things.
It does. Advertising is all about asking them for something, where content marketing is all about giving them something.
Correct.
Right?
It was beautiful. We loved it.
Yes.
Nicely done.
Well, thank you. This is my world. So when it comes to, one of the biggest things when Bo and I started this podcast that I was excited about, and also kind of like, I'm not sure how this is going to go, is that it's super niche, number one. So I was excited about the fact that because it's super niche and because most of the people in this space don't really know what they're doing when it comes to social media, that there is a lot of opportunity. Like when I was looking at the commercial real estate podcast that existed, I would never listen to them just because I'm not interested in this world. So I knew that he and I could bring something that even if you were listening, if you were a husband to a wife who's in commercial real estate and she has it on, you'd be excited to listen to it as well, which did not exist. I was like, okay, there's a big opportunity here. For a lot of people that don't have that person with them or have not hired you, that are trying to go out and build their brokerage or build their personal brand even, where would you have them start? Like, what's the thing? And I know there's a conversation that needs to be had. Walk me through that. What does somebody do?
Well, the first thing that they have to do is they have to identify what their content pillars are and who their audience is, right? And I'm not talking, we talk about avatars all the time. We talk about, it's this person and they're a family owned REIT. They've had the business for 60 years and now the kids are, no, I'm talking about like, who are the people that you are trying to reach in more of a general sense? Like, I want to reach investors or I want to reach other brokers. So identify who your audience is. And the next thing is your content buckets or pillars that you can talk about. I recommend my clients do 5. Even if we're only posting for them 3 times a week, I want 5 because there's 5 Monday through Friday, 5 days, right? And so I'm looking for those content pillars that we can pull content from. What is that? Okay, it's deal stories and pulling out, the Massimo group and their carts, challenge, action, result, testimonial. Those are great, but you can't literally post a cart and put challenge. And I have seen people do this. And I'm just like, that's not what I was saying. So I've been clarifying.
I low-key love it when they do.
It's a story, okay, people? It's a story. You can start with the CART framework. Love it. I'm so happy. But it's a story, right? I don't want to see challenge. I want the story behind it, which is why Bob's Testimonial Tuesdays are so powerful. They're carts, but they're stories. And he's giving you a little bit of that inside information. He's giving you a little bit of that background. And so, there's that. There's also, what are you interested in? Are you involved in organizations outside of commercial real estate that are important to your heart? If you look at Dan Palmieri's content, Dan Palmieri's out of Vegas. He's SIOR. He does office for CBRE. And he's also part of SIOR Foundation. Dan writes a lot of his content is based on all of the work that he does outside of commercial real estate. He's involved in all these different groups, and he's sharing that on social and that journey and his community, right? Because it's local. That's not commercial real estate. That has really nothing to do with it. He could just be a business dude that was involved in that. He just happens to be in commercial real estate. So looking at what your content pillars are you starting your entrepreneur business? What does that mean to you? How does that look? There's so many things that people can start with, and they get so confused that they're like, oh, well, I've only been in the business for a year. Okay, what did you do before this, right? Who were you before you decided to get into commercial real estate? Or if you're a college student, what does that journey look like? What is this process for you? What are some of your fears? Are you afraid to pick up the phone? How are you overcoming that? Who are some of your mentors? What are you learning? It really has nothing to do with other than we want your story. We consume stories, and that's what we want. So when I talk to clients or prospects, we do talk about, your content pillars. We talk about what we're going to pull out of you. My favorite thing is, and I wish more people would do this, is voice memos. Send me your voice memo. I want to hear your voice memo. I want to hear your point of view, whether it's something that happened in the news. Maybe you were driving by a warehouse in Denver and you were like, oh, hey, warehouse Denver, Aviva, right? And immediately you think of Aviva and you're like, I wonder if you could literally turn that into a piece of content, right? Like, hey, that's actually a great thing right there. I just thought of it. Is this owned by Aviva?
Shout out Aviva.
I love that.
Right?
I'll drop everything I'm doing and just go do that. I'm just kidding. I have so
right? I mean, but that's something that you could do if you were in commercial real estate in Denver. It's just a little fun thing to do. And that's where I think the last thing before Fly gets to jump in, I want to say is it has to be fun. If you don't enjoy what you're doing, that's why you bring Fly and I on. But if you don't enjoy it, you're not going to want to do it at all. And so what we're trying to do is trying to get you to think outside of that, like, this sucks. I hate social media. I don't want to be on here, to let's have some fun with this. And last but not least, when I'm talking about fun, think about the Bob Knakal hot tub video, right?
Mm-hmm.
People started ragging on.
Okay, hold on. Let's pause it. So Bob Knakal, traditionally always in a suit and a tie.
Right.
So he does this video. Was this your idea, Mo?
Yeah, it was. Okay. It was a group effort.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Mo's idea, and so he gets out of bed. The video starts. He gets out of bed, and he's in a suit and tie already. It's like I slept in it, and he keeps going. And the whole time it's been a while since I've seen it, but he's basically narrating like, I don't wear a suit and tie all the time, And then he ends up in a hot tub at the end in a suit and tie, like he's in the hot tub in a suit and tie. It's well done. It's pretty funny.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Real quick, that was in response to some haters on X who, Bob and strip mall guy Don Tapman ended up going to a game, and they invited somebody that came down, and Bob literally left work to. Did I say football game? Hockey game. I apologize.
Yeah.
Hockey game. And he showed up in a suit and tie because he literally left work to go to the hockey game, to go meet them, to go be there. And so, of course, he's taking this photo, and everybody else is in, their jerseys and their T-shirts. And there's Bob in a suit and tie. And so people were kind of ragging on him about this whole situation. And that's where that came from, because we wanted to address it in a funny way and say, hey, we recognize your comments, but it doesn't mean shit at the end of the day, because I'm still making money. So
that's so good. It's so funny because right before this, I just had a meeting with Leland and Andrew. So these are two guys. We created a sport called Tisbee, And over this last week, we started posting clips from the game, and they're blowing up. With that blowing up, we're getting a ton of comments, a lot of positive ones. And of course, with the positive ones, you get the haters, or the people that are like, oh no, another sport we got to kick off the tennis court, right? And so we had a conversation. They're like, what kind of comments should we do to respond? And I was like, well, let me just read you all the responses I made already, right? A lot of them are very funny, and a lot of them are self-owning. I think one of the biggest things for people putting themselves out there on social media is, what are people going to think about me? And just fearing, number one, what they're going to think, and the kind of hate or comments that they're going to receive in a negative light.
Mm-hmm.
How do we respond / deal with the negativity that comes when you're doing something incredible?
So when it comes to that, when it comes to battling negativity, a lot of times I'm snarky. I'll be a snarky bitch. I don't care. I'll pop in there and say something to the effect of, thanks so much for taking the time to comment. Every single time you comment back, it just pushes me up further in the feed.
Right.
And that generally shuts people up, because I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to give her more attention. Now, if they continue the argument and it has nothing to do and they start doing name calling, then that's it. They get blocked, they get deleted. I'm not putting up with that. And the same goes for clients. Like, I'm not that rude for clients when I respond for clients. But for the most part, it's thank you very much for taking the time to comment. Appreciate it. And then just leave it at that. Like, there's no point.
Yeah. My goal is always to win them over by what my response is.
I don't even bother.
Right. But and that's me personally. I have so much fun to craft a response that's going to surprise them, make them laugh, also give them a jab, while at the same time, like, oh yeah, appreciate the post or whatever. What would you say to people that do have that fear, though, as far as like, what are people going to think?
I, first of all, think that people in this business, because I'm not from this business, people in this, and so the thing that strikes me about commercial real estate, people, professionals, brokers, and all the adjacent, service providers and entities that, are doing this, is that you deal with rejection all the time. A baby broker who is, getting his feet wet, making cold calls, is going to hear no more than any other time in his life or her life. And I work with a lot of guys about this specifically. So that's why that comes up. But so the industry itself requires the kind of resilience that you need to be able to push through and get to a yes. And so I think that very mindset is the one that, brokers and other people, need to bring to this, and to, try to give themselves a little dose of stoicism, because not every conversation is going to lead to a deal that's for you. Some deals are yours and some deals are not. Some people, your content is going to be for some people, and your content is going to not resonate with other people. And so you cannot focus at all on the people who it's not for. But at first you have to be extremely clear about that. And it's going to take time to figure out what to say and what not to say and how to make it look good and all these things. But I believe that the broker, specifically, is the person who is so well suited for this in so many levels. And so, and just, block and delete. I love what you said about trying to surprise and delight them. And again, I think that somebody in sales, would need to know how to do that to win a deal. And, also to be open to receiving feedback, because if you're just getting started, everything that you do in the first 3 months is you're not going to feel great about it. Mm-hmm. And you have to get through that in order for it to get better, because iteration and repetition is going to get you to something that is excellent.
Yeah. And most people quit. They quit after that first month. Right. They don't give it that 3 months. They don't give it that 90 days. Because they're not either getting the response that they want. And when you understand the numbers, This was a stat that LinkedIn put out a couple years ago, and it's been a couple years ago now. 70% of all posts on LinkedIn do not receive a reaction, a comment, any engagement. 70% of all the posts on LinkedIn. So if you're not getting that, welcome to the club. But at the same time, there are things that you can do to be active on the platform so that your content starts getting shared to a wider audience, people that actually see you in that vertical, and they start engaging. And it also is incumbent upon you to go engage with other people in your industry. If you want, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but it's the TikTokification of the social platforms, right? Your For You page is very, very specific to what you are interested in and what kind of content you're consuming. We see it on TikTok. So if you're only watching cat and dog videos, guess what? That's what you're going to see more of, because the algorithm wants you on the platform as long as possible. And if you're going to be on there for 5 minutes watching cat and dog videos, well, hell yeah, you're going to be on there for 10 minutes watching cat and dog videos. So now that's going to all the other social platforms too, even LinkedIn. It's going to show you more stuff. And Fly and I have talked about this on Social Surge about how the LinkedIn algorithm has changed and how people have been complaining about seeing, and now Fly has had this timeline for a while. I just started getting it where you're seeing posts from like 3 weeks ago. You're like, wait, what the hell is this? Like, and you feel weird. Like, do I comment on this? Yeah. Hell yeah, I'm going to comment on it because it's the first time that it showed up on my feed. I haven't seen it anywhere else. So don't feel bad about commenting on it, but it is the TikTokification of the social platforms, because now you're seeing more of the content that you are engaging with. Now, there's a corollary to that. If all you're seeing is political bullshit, guess what you are commenting on? Guess what you are spending your time on and consuming? I've had so many people tell me, I can't stand X. X is so bad. All I get is all this political crap. And I'm like, quit commenting and clicking on the political crap.
Or watching it all the way through.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to teach. You have to teach it.
You have to teach it, and that requires time. And most people don't want to spend the time. Fly.
Platforms are supposed to mirror how you interact in real life. That's my thesis. Not only do you need to spend time interacting with content that you actually value and reflects what you're interested in, but engaging with others is actually the antidote to experiencing the haters in a way that is paralyzing. Because the thing about the people who are a part of the positive CRE social communities and pockets are the kind of people who are getting all the hate from brokers who are offline, who are belittling them. And so that was one of the reasons also why my entry into this industry was so fast, was because I connected with people and built relationships with people that were interested and valued the same kind of things and wanted to help each other. And so every time one of our pack is experiencing something negative, on the internet, it is no different than if you were in, your market or your, organization or whatever. If somebody was coming after you, your bros would be there. And so really, again, I think that the greatest thing that you can do to deal with all these things, except maybe for the issue of time, is to treat it as if, it were your real life connections. And it's just the digital version of that. It's actually quite simple.
Quit throwing shit. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. For anybody that does want to do more social media, feel like you need to do more social media and you're scared about what other people are going to think, any negative comment that comes in, just click on that person and see what they're posting and who they are. You're going to feel way better about themselves, because people typically comment something negative when they're basically just exposing the cage that they have put themselves in.
I find it interesting. I've had clients that have called me and they're like, I'm being in their market, maybe a tertiary market. They're like, I'm being called Mr. LinkedIn now. I'm like, good. That means that means they're seeing your content. And I said, are they saying anything else? Oh yeah, they're telling me whether they liked a post or didn't like a post. I said, that's great. I said, you're not always going to get people that are going to comment on your content. They're lurkers, but they will comment when they see you in real life. Hey, Mr. LinkedIn.
Yep.
Yeah. Great. Give me more names. I want to be Mr. Instagram next. I want to be Mr. X next. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
that is attention. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about attention currency, and that we are not in, it's not social media. It is it attention media? Interest media. Thank you, Fly. That we're not doing social media anymore. It's interest media based on how, again, going back to the TikTokification of the social platforms, it's what are your interests? Fly's got something.
Social media is the conduit between interest and conversion into a real connection, conversation, or deal. And so the other mistake that I see people making when they're putting out content is they're not pushing it to the next step, right? Every time somebody sees your content, yes, that is a touch, but how are you translating that into meetings, listings, and deals, right? And so, that I think is something that can be challenging for people to manage on top of everything else that they have to do in their business. And so you either have to have the discipline around it to, capitalize on the engagement and opportunities that come to you from being present, or create a system or sub it out to have somebody help you with that as well. But, again, for me, the two pieces, social and media, the media is the interest part. There's very specific ways that you have to put out content on these platforms, especially when you start incorporating anything visual, which is why I think I see a lot of really successful, text-based posts coming from people, is that, that is extremely accessible for most people. To read and consume, as well as to produce, right? But as soon as you start, folding in all these other different formats and trying to, customize and optimize them for the platform, specifically how content performs there, like that is another place where I see the disconnect, because you talk to people all the time. You have all the thoughts all the time. So you either get into a practice of articulating them, in a post and in conversation that's digital, or then you realize the other opportunities there are to elevate that. And of course, the place that we are seeing that is primarily on video.
This episode is sponsored in part by Site to Do Business, the ultimate commercial real estate data analysis and mapping tool. Whether you're a seasoned professional or just starting out, Site to Do Business provides the data and insights you need to make informed decisions and close deals faster. Frankly, it's the tool that I use the most in my business. Access comprehensive market analysis, demographic data, and powerful mapping tools like ArcGIS, Placer AI, and flood maps all in one place. Identify the best locations for your clients, analyze market trends, and present your findings with confidence. Don't miss out on this game-changing platform. Visit stdb.com today and see how it can optimize your business. And now back to the show.
What are the conversations when we're talking about posting, right? I don't know what to post. What are the conversations that you're having with your prospects and your clients? Those are the same conversations in the same posts that you should be creating for social media.
Give me an example.
Super easy. Was talking with one of my clients yesterday, and he was asking me about the market in New York City. And I explained to him, this is what we're seeing. Boom. He's already giving the information out there. He's already telling his clients about that. Just talked with a prospect who was looking at a 10,000 square foot warehouse, and these were some of his needs. Unfortunately, but I know somebody in the market has something. Hey, who out there has this? So I can give you their information, right? Like, I don't know if that's going to play out.
But am I grabbing my phone, pulling up the camera and saying that to the camera? Am I typing this out as a Facebook status update? Am I doing this am I typing it out on X with the video? Like, what, I think a lot of people get held up on, like, okay, I had this conversation. This is good information. How do I get it? How do I present it? Just as what you said, storyboarding it super quickly, doing a LinkedIn post, doing whatever post, if you're going to put it on Facebook, then taking that and doing bullet points and creating a video out of it. There's your video content. So you have the two, right? Not everybody's comfortable getting on camera and just rattling it off. I am, because I've practiced it like a lot. And I talk about this a lot. You'll see me on Instagram at 4:00 in the morning with freaking sleep in my eyes and my hair all over the place. But something spurred something in my head to make a video about it. Usually it's on stories. They're not pretty, but whatever. It's a point that I want to make. Now, if you have that and you're not comfortable doing that on camera, easiest thing to do,
You have your opening statement. You make your 3 points, and then you have your, basically your conclusion. It's a paragraph, right? But you do 3 points. You don't do full sentences because you're not going to try to read as you're looking at the video. But if you go over it and you have these 3 points in your head already, you can rattle off a bunch of shit and it'll sound good. Now, the big thing is getting out of it. How do you get out of it? Do you ask a question? Is there a call to action? Are you then going to flip the script? And is it going to be a counterpoint to what you brought up in the first place? It's knowing all these things about words, right? It's like knowing how to use words in a way that allow you to communicate what your value proposition is, who you are, what you do, that is easy for the person to understand. Sorry.
Right. Well, it's, do you need to do that on every post, or is it like, okay. So for anybody that's not familiar, a story is there for 24 hours and then it disappears.
Yep.
Right. So, and then you've got other content that goes online and then it stays there forever for anybody to look at it from the coming days and stuff like that. So with the story, you can be more raw. So I just want to clarify that, because you don't need to have a call to action at the end of every story or every time you put out a thought. And just like with Gary Vaynerchuk, who you brought up, the jab, 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 right hook,
right?
So I think what I'm hearing you saying is, if you're going to produce a piece of content that's going to live there, that's giving people valuable information, and you're offering and giving, you should probably have a call to action, or even if it's a follow, if you want more of this, I'm doing this every Wednesday or whatever, figuring out what it is you want them to do at the end.
I think it's more, for me, it's more when you were talking about like jokes, like what's the punchline, right?
Yeah.
Having worked in radio, you only get 30 to 45 seconds, if you're lucky, between the end of a song and before a commercial break starts, right? So what I was taught was, and this, I actually have employed this a lot for myself. If I had 5 breaks during an hour, it was state news, local news, sports, some entertainment news, and like some other stuff, maybe a family thing. But it was always bringing up the main statement, supporting it with a couple bullet points, and then what's the punchline? How do you get out of it, right? Whether it's a call to action, whether it's, like I said, flipping the script and making people think. Maybe it's just, you don't ever want to end it with going, well, I don't know. I guess it's your guess. That is not, please don't end stuff like that.
I'm just make a note for myself. No, I'm just kidding.
Right? It's the punchline. What is the punchline? And I've seen so many people, especially in radio, who don't understand that. I was really lucky that my mentor was amazing and he taught me all of this stuff. And I've taken all that stuff that I learned from radio and I've applied it to social media, because it's creating community with people that can't freaking see you.
Yeah.
What I love about what you just said is that it is that the way that you broke that down was so informed by the actual format, right? And so, if to go back to your question, Timmy, about like what do I say? Where does it go? How do I do it? I really encourage people to start. First of all, start.
Just
because trying to plan out something that is incredibly like when you get down to that level, it's very granular and tactical. Trying to decide that without actually doing it, you're going to learn so much more by doing it than you are by trying to have it be perfect at the first go. Like, you're going to put your phone up to your face and then you have the idea, you have the bullet points, you have everything, you know what you want to say. No, you're going to press record and look like a
fool, a damn fool.
Yeah. And you want to know what? The very first time I did a Facebook Live, I cried so hard. I cried live and I didn't delete it. And luckily it was bad, so nobody watched it and I got through it. But like sometimes it's a really messy start. But one of the reasons Mo is so smart when she says, the platform that you should be on is one that you enjoy being on, is because you're already going to have an idea about what works well.
Right.
Because you are consuming content on that platform.
Right.
So overthink, I think, is someplace that people get stopped up, and you just have to decide to try something and start is the very first thing. And then, one thing that you can do to help combat that sort of that fight or flight, freezing up when you're trying to put something out, is, in your mind, try to like speak directly to someone. And this is another reason why Mo and I feel very strongly, about, podcasts being one of the best ways that you can, jumpstart your content, especially the way that YouTube run it, is that you're always in conversation with somebody else, responding in real time to somebody else.
Right.
And uncomfortable as that can be, in fact, I'm quite uncomfortable right now.
Oh, come on.
You're actually, well, I'm a bit nervous, exciting. You're very, I'm not, you don't make me uncomfortable, but it becomes more of a living, breathing thing as opposed to the disconnect you feel when you're just sort of like talking into the void.
Right. Right.
All right. So do this for me. I'm going to describe to you how I engage with social media, and I'd like you guys to critique it.
Oh, no.
I have no idea.
Whoa, I know how you engage with social media.
She already knows. All right,
well,
go on. The listeners
everybody
don't.
else doesn't know.
The listeners don't. Okay.
So we do the podcast. All right. And so we're putting out an episode a week. We just brought on a video editor named Bridget. And so we're gonna start doing a lot more of the shorts and the clips and the stuff. So there's gonna be more of that happening. Zero of this has, like, I do zero of that work, right? I show up to the podcast, I sit down, I have a conversation.
He does a big part of the work by providing the expertise. But the post-production and pre-production is...
Yeah, like, the actual production work of all this and clipping it up and editing and all that stuff. Like, I don't know how to do that stuff. I don't want to know how to do this stuff. If I had to do this stuff, this would all break down and not work, right? So, I've got Timmy, we've got Bridget, we've got Alice helping. I provide the expertise and most often the guests.
Yep.
Right.
Always.
So so we're creating content and it gets
incredible voice
clipped up and stuff.
The handsome one.
Okay.
Sorry,
Enough of
go
this.
ahead.
Yeah. Now I'm going to try to start speaking deeper. But as far as like the time I spend on social media, I'm not anti, I just don't enjoy it. Right. So what I generally do is, I check to see if what Timmy and his team's putting out is getting any engagement. And if it is, I try to respond to that. Never heard of that golden hour thing before, which is interesting, but it won't change my life in the sense that I'm not going to try to remember when things are posted and actually engage. But I get on there generally in the morning at some point before I head to work. I'll spend a little bit of time looking and seeing if anything's happening. And then maybe at lunch and maybe one other time during the day, I'm going to spend a few minutes. But the people I engage with, because I generally don't post myself, I engage with what's out there. Almost all of the people I engage with are people I actually know. It's not, otherwise I might consume some stuff like, I don't know that I've ever responded to like a strip mall guy post. I don't actually know him, but I will with Bob or Rod or Alan Buchanan. And actually Alan and Barbie Reuter in Tucson are actually two examples of people I'm genuinely have friendships with at this point that started on what was then Twitter, but that's pretty rare. So like I try to get on there and engage.
And we're talking about X specifically right now? Yes. Mm-hmm.
But like on any platform, I try to engage, but I don't often post other than what's comes out of the
repost
the studio here,
right.
So I don't know if that's effective or not, but critique, because this is more of a habit than a strategy for me, So what do you think?
Fly.
Light me up. Tell me how this is bad.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're asking, actually, how you can, as a consumer?
No, like as someone who would like to have more of a presence and be more effective.
Oh, gotcha.
On social media.
So your strategy that you're doing right now sucks balls, and you need to stop doing it.
Well, okay, hold on.
Tell me how you really feel.
Come on. All he's doing is reposting. Now, the thing he's doing good is he's engaging. I love that. Love that.
You're cooked if you don't have that.
Yes. So that is great. But the not posting or the reposting of the content, especially if you're reposting and not actually saying anything, it's just a repost, is not doing anything for you. It is doing something for the repost. And there was a little bit like last year, I think there was a bit of a conspiracy theory. The LinkedIn did come out and say it. And I know you guys were talking specifically about X, but LinkedIn was saying that they didn't want you to repost content because then it was killing the original post's trajectory. So there's like all this stuff going on. So, but if you're going to repost, you need to add commentary to it. And if that's all you do is repost and add commentary, okay, it's not a strategy that's going to really, I think, resonate with people. It might, depending on how active you are on whatever platform you're on and engaging in those conversations. That's what's going to drive everything, is how are you engaging with those other people? Because if you're not engaging and you're just reposting, nobody's going to see your content. It's and then you're going to get frustrated and you're not going to want to post because you're like, nobody engages. Well, it's because you're not engaging.
I want to add something here too, because Bo was active on Twitter a while ago and ended up racking up, you got 10,000 followers around, right? And we're in an age now, like they were saying, the TikTokification, meaning that your followers, like how often when you go to social media now, are you only seeing your friends' posts or your followers' posts or the people you follow? Rare. They're feeding you what they think you want, which is very good for people wanting to get in, because that means your follower count essentially does not matter. It plays a bit of a factor, but it does not matter. You can pop off with the right post that hits the right people, depending on whether you have a big follow count. But on the other side of that, having 10,000 followers doesn't mean when you post, you've got 10,000 eyes on it anymore.
Well, and here's real quick, here's a stat from, and I'm taking you back 9 years, 2016. This was a stat from Twitter at that time, that a tweet loses half of its audience within 18 minutes. 18 minutes. So if you have 1,000 followers, only 500 are going to see it. And then it deprecates every 9 minutes after that, to the point, which is why when we were on Twitter at that time, we were posting like every 15, 20, 30 minutes, because we knew, and especially like in a
that's right,
direct to consumer, like we were constantly just posting.
That's right. Even on Instagram, everything was being shown to you in the order by which it was posted. Yes,
chronological
I forgot
order.
About that. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But now think about with more people being on the platforms. I'm sorry, Fly. With more people being on the platforms, like how fast is that tweet going to last if you're not actively engaging and being involved in your community? Fly.
The shelf life of posts across different apps is so much longer. It's longer and different, but on LinkedIn specifically, we talked about this already, but it's like the shelf life is changed. And a couple of things on this, like roast of Bo, I want to pull back on is like, well, I think that you were more present than you realize. And it's because you have created such a consistent piece of regular content that's being pushed out, with you and Timmy, that like your name is being spoken in rooms you have no idea about because it is here. And I don't know if you're valuing that enough. But to start the conversation about, what you're doing now, I would actually start with this question is, what are your business goals? Is social media a part of that? And is what you're doing now helping you better reach them? Because you may not be connecting with new people outside of your network, but you're doing a lot to meet people in real life and building in that network out. So if that's not if you don't need to use social prospecting to build your business right now, like, why would you be measuring against that? And I think that the topic of analytics and like how you actually measure the ROI or the efficacy of using social media is a conversation to be had and is constantly developing. But the powerful thing about it, and again, just to give you some roses here, is that this thing is working for you around the clock.
That's true.
Oh yeah. The podcast is like a never ending marketing machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
It is. And not only that, like with what we're putting out there, a lot of it is evergreen. So we're having so many people discover things we've done a year or two ago as well.
So getting back to what you were talking about earlier about like how you were describing how to post and some of your examples, Mo and Fly. Have you guys ever heard of Monroe's motivated sequence?
No, I have not.
All right, you're gonna get this instantly, and I bet you've heard about it and just didn't realize there's actually a name for it.
Okay.
But I remember when our dad ran for state Congress, he had like an announcement speech, like I'm announcing that I'm running, and I wrote the speech.
Ah.
And it was based on this sequence right here.
Okay.
So obviously, first thing, attention. Like you start off with something that grabs somebody's attention. Made me think of this is, hey, I was just with one of my clients, and like that is something in commercial real estate. Like when I hear right off the bat, I'm like, wait, he's going to take me into a conversation he just had with one of his clients. Like I'm interested.
Right.
Like I want to know what happened there behind the curtain. You know?
Right.
So like I like that. I like that.
And
you know. Yeah. So some kind of attention grabbing thing, right?
Right.
And Bob does a great job with his videos, like when he takes the walks. What do they call those?
A walk down the street.
A walk down the street in New York City. Well, just the fact that he's in New York City, I'm interested, just because it's so different and other than what I see every day.
Right.
But like that's the attention thing, and then there's the need. So you got to really tell. You know, you're agitating at this point. You've got their attention. Now you're going to tell them how there's an issue here. You know. And then you satisfy the need. Like, here's my solution to this thing. Then you go to, and this, you always know when somebody's doing this is because they use the word imagine. Imagine what the future would look like if we solved this problem for you.
Yep.
You know, it's like, man, now I'm actually thinking about the future and how good it could be if this thing were taken care of or solved, or I realize this opportunity or whatever the case may be. And then there's that call to action. I have this, in the algorithm has figured out on whatever platform that that I watch basketball drill videos, and I send about half of them to my daughter.
Yeah.
Okay, she's 16. She's a basketball player, and so I watch these drills because she's better than I ever was, and that happened a couple of years ago. You know, I can't beat her anymore. And I can't beat her in basketball anymore. Let's be real clear about what I'm talking about. Okay?
Yes, he can still beat her.
That's also not what I meant.
That's not
Okay.
what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay.
He's still capable of beating her. Yes.
Anyway, there's this one guy on there, and I see I think it feeds me all his stuff, and he has good drills, but his drills are basically this, and they start off with a problem. You know, and grabs my attention because somebody he's working with is trying to do a thing and they do it badly on video. And then he tells you what the problem is. And then he gives you a drill to fix it. And then he has you think about what would your game look like if you had this ability?
Yeah.
You know, and then at the very end, he's got this little catchphrase and he always says, I give good drills. Call me.
Yeah.
I give good drills. Like, you know exactly what he wants you to do. Watch his stuff, call him. You know, I don't think it's call me, but that kind of thing, you know?
Right.
And every time I see one of those, I'm like, there's Monroe's again, you know? But that's a really easy format. And so if somebody's out there and they're like, man, I need to start doing this. I understand the value. I haven't really done it before. It's awkward, whatever. It's just, man, you can roll through Monroe's motivated sequence. You know, attention, need, satisfaction, visualization of the future, and then call to. You can roll through that in 15 seconds.
Right.
And really grab somebody and give something of value and a clear call to action.
Always.
And you can throw that out there in a video form or text or whatever you want. You can do it like,
I think the most important thing that you said in that entire thing, which was great, it reminded me of StoryBrand, but it's also the fact that you said provide value. That is probably the number one thing that misses from a lot of commercial real estate posts.
Yep.
And now don't misunderstand me. Not every single post has to provide value, but we talk about it all the time about the 3 E's: education, engagement, and entertainment, right? You need to educate, you need to entertain, and you need to engage. You need to cause something to engage with it, engage with the content afterward, whatever that engagement looks like. But it's that providing value, right? You're providing something for free that nobody had to ask you for. And then you become that trusted voice where they're going to start coming to you because, oh, well, I know that she knows what she's talking about because she said something on Social Surge and then I happen to see it on LinkedIn or X or whatever, or I was doing something and then she said this, right? So you're always providing that value without asking for anything in return. Now, on this one, he is asking like, but it's not like a blatant ask. It's like, hey, you want to get better? Connect with me, right? Like,
right.
And the thing being there is like, by not connecting with him, you're saying you don't want to get better. So I love that, but at this, right? But it's that providing value. How are you providing value?
Yep.
And showing up consistently, providing that value.
And I think what you said is important. Like everything doesn't have to be all value all the time. Yep. But are you characterized as, is it true that if somebody follows me, they're going to consistently get value? Yes. Right. Like that's the question, I think, more than like every post has to give value. Right. I remember one time we were doing, Twitter early on, and I was in Lowe's. Have I showed you this picture before? You know what I'm going to say?
No. Okay.
I was in Lowe's with my daughter at the time, and she was probably 6, 5, cute as a button. And we walked by the section in Lowe's where they had like yard signs and stuff. And I had her pick up a for lease sign. And I took a picture of it and threw it on what was then Twitter and basically said, you certainly can't have her, but I'll rent her out. It was just something a little cheeky, kind of cute. It was the cutest little thing, like you can't have her.
Yeah.
But I'll rent her out.
That's right.
And it was just kind of
humanizing.
Like I have to do the humor thing on purpose.
Yeah.
Like it just comes out of you.
Yeah.
I have to actually do it on purpose. I think I can be funny sometimes, but like it's not my norm.
Right.
So, and to infuse a little bit of that, I think is important because it does. It humanizes.
It humanizes, and we connect with humans.
Yep.
That's why we encourage faces. Like this was a couple years ago, maybe it was even last year. I saw LinkedIn posts and I saw X posts. Why is everybody putting their faces on everything? Because we connect with humans, dumbass.
Yeah.
We connect with the face. We connect with the facial expression. Like that's why you put your face on a sales flyer. That's why you put your face everywhere, because we connect with human.
Right.
We don't connect with anything else. We want to see the face.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that's a big reason why I generally just engage with people I actually know.
Right.
It's because there's a relationship there.
Right. I mean, if you were engaging just to engage, authenticity is huge. It's huge. And so if it feels inauthentic and, sometimes it takes practice to become authentic. No one is authentic on video, but what was that drill guy? What was his name? The guy that does the drills?
I don't know his name. It's Good Drills.
I
think if you search for Good Drills.
Yeah, I bet. So here's another thing too, because with Good Drills, I bet that's all he does. But on wherever you're watching that, where do you typically see that? On YouTube?
It's a good question. I don't often recognize which platform I'm on.
Okay.
It's probably TikTok or YouTube.
Yeah. So I bet that's all he's doing, which is providing value. But if you go to another one that has stories, you might see behind the curtain. But his goal is probably to be able to monetize his social media following.
Oh, sure.
Right? And where commercial real estate here, Fly, please.
No, I was getting excited about the point that you were about to make, which is I think that is not the point of why CRE people should do this.
That's right. So boil it down to me. What is the point for people that aren't trying to build a personal brand so they can monetize it on social media, but rather be seen as an expert in their field, be seen as the person to go to? Let's go. What is the point for them?
Okay. When you call someone, you're not trying to get a listing and close a deal on the first shot. It's happened. Right?
Yeah.
Like there are outliers, but it's about pulling people closer into your circle of trust and community and the people you do business with, right? So when the most effective cold calls, and I learned this all on social media and by talking to brokers, are when you are doing the same thing. You're showing up to add value. Like, hey, maybe you might not be interested in selling your property right now. Don't judge me on my cold calling skills. They're actually bad. I'm not a broker. Maybe you're not interested in selling right now, but you might be interested in learning to know what your neighbor across the street just sold his property for. Or we just did an appraisal, on this, and I would love to, whatever, right? Like you're opening up, you're creating an opportunity, you're engineering a conversation in which you are going to show up and provide value to someone. Social media is that at scale. When you translate the value that you bring in your individual relationships into something that is packaged to be consumed and seen and engaged with by more people, like you are immediately 10xing the reach that you're getting, the visibility that you're getting. And you don't need to make money from putting out content. You make money by getting and closing deals, and you get and close deals by the relationships that you have and the connections that you create. And again, like social media is no different, except that it looks different, it feels different, and everybody can see it, which is why it's so powerful.
And I think so the monetization of the platforms, if that's, I actually had a call with 2 brokers. I'm not going to say where they're from. They have a podcast, and they wanted to start. Us. No, they wanted to start. They wanted to start putting content out on social media, and I said, great. And I kept asking them about it, and their purpose was they wanted to grow their brokerage, but they kept talking about their podcast and monetization of their podcast. And so me being me, I flat out asked him, I'm like, okay, let me ask you this. Are you interested in growing your brokerage, or are you interested in growing your podcast? Because what I'm hearing is you want to grow the podcast and monetize it. Then that has nothing to do with commercial real estate, even though you guys are interviewing a bunch of people in the industry. That's great. But it has nothing to do with commercial real estate. So you need to clarify exactly what you guys want to do on social before you start asking me what you should do. You're not clear. You have no clarity as to what it is that you want.
Yep.
On their end. And so like, I'm not interested in monetizing a platform, right? I'm not. What I'm interested in is helping you grow your business. And social media is the top of the funnel. It's the top of mind awareness. The more you show up on social, the more that you have those touch points, whatever platform you decide to be on, if you show up consistently and you're active on whatever platform you want to be active on, you're creating top of mind awareness so that when they start thinking of you in your industry, in your city or your area, immediately you come to mind because you've shown up consistently within their feed. Then the next step is get them to a website, get them to somewhere where they can download some information, where you can provide some more value for free, but it's not for free because they're giving you their email address. And then the next step is dropping into your CRM. So now they're part of your marketing ecosystem. And yes, we're talking marketing ecosystem where it's social, it is website, whether that's white papers, market research reports, proprietary data that only you have that you're willing to share, right? And then it's getting into that. And did I start with email marketing? I can't remember. Email, website, social, right? So it's this whole circle. And then you're going to add in, of course, like if you're doing mail, right? You're going to do your mailers, your physical stuff. There's a whole bunch of stuff that happens, but it starts on social. It starts with people seeing you there. And it also starts with networking events, right? Like, oh, I see you on LinkedIn. I see you on X. I see you on Instagram, right? I watch your YouTube channel. And so start thinking about the top of mind awareness and what that marketing funnel looks like and what you want as the end result. The end result should be the CRM. I've talked about this with clients that have said, if you do not stay with the brokerage that you're at right now, what happens? Who owns your database?
Yep.
Who owns it? Do you own it? Or does your company own it? Because if you leave, then you start at the bottom if they own your database.
Yep.
You need to grow your database.
Yep.
you know, I'm going to tell you, the majority of our listeners are going to hear all this, and they're going to realize how important your all's roles are if they want to grow their business using social media.
Becoming well known on social media for knowing what you're talking about and being likable and engaging and leading with value, without just trying to sell all the time, because it's a terrible place to do that.
Yes.
Like, all of that makes everything I do in my business easier. Being known as somebody who knows what they're doing, is likable, and leads with value helps me in everything else I do. It helps on the prospecting calls. It helps during meetings. It helps when I meet new clients. It helps bring in leads. I got a call a week ago from a broker in California, and he's got a client who owns a piece of real estate here. It's a single tenant net lease deal, and they're looking to sell. And why did he call us? 2 reasons. 1, podcast. 2, the CCIM designation. Like, that's why I got the call instead of anybody else. Like, this stuff goes before us, and prepares our way. And I think that's I've never been able to quantify the ROI on the time I've spent on social media. I can just tell you that it has led to deals, and it has greased the wheels of all the systems in our business.
Yes.
And so when I say I hate doing it, I'm not lying, but man, I see the value in it.
Right.
And, where can we, like, the people who are listening
Yes.
thinking, man, I want all the systems in my business to work better because I'm better well known and I need help to do it. Like, those people who are thinking that, and like, how do they get a hold of you two?
They can find us at movomediamarketing.com. That's MOV, V as in Victoria, O, mediamarketing.com.
But just one V, right?
Correct.
It's above your head.
Yeah, it's in my head.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that.com.
Yeah. They can find us on the socials. We are pretty much everywhere. Fly Jamerson, Mo Regalado. You'll see my gray streak. You'll see Fly with her red hair. We're everywhere. And of course, they can always call if they wanted to. I can give you the business number, which is 509-309-7202. That's 509-309-7202. It's Fly at movomediamarketing.com and Movo at movomediamarketing.com. But really, you can find us on socials. I will put as a caveat real quick. Do not jump in my DMs and try to sell me something. I will put you on.
Oh, due to me. You can send them my way.
You alluded to this in the intro, and I wonder if you did it on accident. But Fly really does have the eyebrow thing.
She does have the eyebrow, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you said something about, like, did you know that, or was that an accident?
I've watched several of their social surges preparing for this. And speaking of which, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they go live social surge, where they are talking a lot about all these practices. And it's live on Twitter. I know that, X. Yep. Is that where you all go live?
LinkedIn,
nope,
and also Instagram.
LinkedIn,
and
also
Facebook and YouTube. We go live on all the platforms. Yeah,
all of them. And what are they following one of you all personally, or?
For the YouTube, it's the Movo Media Marketing channel.
Okay,
and
great.
X goes out on our personal channels. LinkedIn goes out on our personal channels. Sometimes we rotate. It's been going out on mine recently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
People follow people.
Facebook is on. Facebook is actually on my personal and my business.
Okay, great. If they can they find that if they go to your website?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, go to the website because that's where it all is. You have something you're about to say, Fly? It looks like you're about to say something.
I was gonna say there's literally no place you can't find us. That's
Right.
not true, but I live inside of the internet, so hit me up.
That's how it should be for anybody that's helping people live inside of the internet themselves. Before we go, I want to do a rapid fire with both of you. You'll probably agree on the answers, but I'm going to do rapid fire real quick. There are 3 ways to consume content, which is video, audio, and written word, as you all know. For people who want to do video, what platforms are best
for that, go.
We're both afraid to say something.
Here, let me be more specific. If somebody wants to put out short form video from a minute to 3 minutes, where are the best places to post?
Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah, the only reason I'm hesitating to say that is because the video platforms are so similar.
Yep.
You know, and so many platforms that didn't have video have it now. I don't care what platforms that you're on, if the people that you're trying to reach aren't there. And so, yes, like obviously TikTok is a 100% like viable video platform, but are the people that you're actually trying to connect with there to watch your content? Otherwise, you're posting into the void. And so getting really specific about who you're trying to reach is going to dictate the platform that you're on. However,
well, let's tear that apart. Let's get rid of that. This at a very high level. If you are somebody that could make short form vertical video content, where would you point that person?
YouTube Shorts.
YouTube Shorts.
And then there's a whole reason behind that because of the SEO and AEO quality of YouTube and getting picked up organically on the search engines and the answer engines.
Great. Okay. For written word.
LinkedIn X.
LinkedIn X.
And again, depends on who's there.
Okay. And for audio.
Oh, Spotify.
Yeah, I mean,
Apple
Podcast too, but
yeah.
Well, yeah, for those that don't know, if you did want to do audio, if you go to Spotify, it pushes it out to the other platforms.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Look at me learning.
Well, you have to set them up. So you have to set them up. So that's one of the big challenges, especially with Apple. Apple is a whole pain in the ass to get your stuff on Apple Podcasts when it comes to like accounts and all this stuff. So just ask me if I've done that before.
Not if you have a Timmy, it's not.
Well, if you go, I went through Spotify, and Spotify made that a lot simpler. Because they'll push it out to the other ones. Were you about to say something?
Well, it sounded to me like Fly basically just said, if I happen to just naturally already spend time on LinkedIn, and that's where my audience is, and that's where I'm engaging already, then the answer is post on video on LinkedIn. Like that would make the most sense for me. Is that basically what you said? Because that made a lot of sense.
No, that's 100%. If you have not started and you need a place to start, where are you already living?
That way I don't post and ghost.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, post and ghost. All right, sweet. Any other final word from Mo and Fly?
Yes. Watch us on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It is Social Surge with Fly and Mo. We're on all the platforms. We start at 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern. I was going to try to do Central, but, we both mess up on that one. And we're live for about half an hour. We'd love to have you join us. It is interactive. We enjoy. Bo joins in. He comes in and he says, "Good morning, ladies." And so we'd absolutely love to have you on there. And if you have any questions for us on Social Surge, just reach out to us on one of the platforms and we'll answer your questions there.
Love it. If you ever made a video that made you cringe, right now in the comments, do that emoji where they're raising their hands. Speaking of engagement, go ahead. That was for our listeners.
I have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, no, I have too. I'm trying to get people to comment. That wasn't that smooth.
If you learned something today, laughed a little, or finally realized why your content's been flopping harder than a cold call on a Friday afternoon,
then do us a favor. Sign up for the newsletter at subscribe.wgbarron.com. It's got new episodes, leadership, wisdom, and everything Bo consumes, so I don't have to. Follow us wherever you scroll. YouTube, LinkedIn. You can follow Bo on LinkedIn, X, Instagram, and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. If you want to leave us a 1-star review, instead of doing that, just share our episode with somebody you don't like.
And if you're ready to stop doing everything yourself, hire a virtual assistant for your CRE business like I have by going to superpowershq.com/ Commercially Speaking. They're fast, reliable, and unlike Timmy, they actually stay focused.
That's fair. For those in the bag, that's superpowers. HQ.com/commercially speaking. Also, if you want your cringy post roasted by Mo and Fly live on their show, drop it in our comment section. Let us know you want it. You can email us at commerciallyspeaking@gmail.com. You might be one roast away from relevance. Fly Mo, thank you all so much for being on here. And Barbara Corcoran, if you're listening, I just want to whisper sweet content strategies to you like it's Shark Tank After Dark.
Please stop. We're done here. See y'all next week.
See you next week. Love you, brother.
Love you, brother.
Bye,
Bye, Alice.
Bye, Bridget.
Hey!